Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me again. Go to Blue Dude, and if you haven't already, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, especially if you're a college football or a college basketball fan, because that's all we do over here, videos every single day. You can support Golden Blue Dude through PayPal. I'll leave the PayPal link in the description of this video. And also, do not forget to check out my merchandise store. A lot of great stuff over there. And since yours truly won the Slob Olympics, which is a competition between sports YouTubers, we are also going to offer Slob Champion merchandise. I'll leave the link to the merchandise store in the description of this video as well. Well, you know, Selection Sunday has come and gone, and I was going to do a live show, but we were still on our way back from Tennessee from the Slob Olympics, so I wasn't able to do that. So I decided to do sort of a breakdown video of what happened with Selection Sunday. What they got right, what they got wrong. But first, we'll start off with the top 4 seeds. The 1 seeds in the big dance will be Gonzaga, Baylor, Arizona, and Kansas. Completely agree with that. I tried to tell y'all that if Kansas won the Big 12 tournament, they would be a number 1 seed. That's exactly what happened. Now, for the 2 seeds, we have Duke, Kentucky, Villanova, and Auburn. I fully believe that if Kentucky or Auburn would have won the SEC tournament, they would have been a number 1 seed as well. Here's your 3 seeds. Texas Tech, Purdue, Tennessee, Wisconsin. I agree with that 100% as well. And finally, your 4 seeds. Arkansas, UCLA, Illinois, and Providence. I guess the only 2 that I'm iffy on would be Arkansas and Illinois. So here are the proverbial 5-12 matchups. The matchups that we look at and try to figure out what 12 is going to beat what 5. So here are the 5-12 matchups. The 5 seed UConn against the 12 seed New Mexico State. Circle that one. I'm telling you right now, New Mexico State is more than capable of making a deep run in the big dance. So yes, I think that they can upset UConn. The next 5-12, the 5 seed St. Mary's against the winner of Wyoming and Indiana. And I think if Indiana beats Wyoming, which I have them beating them, I think they could upset St. Mary's as well. The next 5-12 is the 5 seed Houston against the 12 seed UAB. And you know what? UAB could upset Houston. Both of these 2 teams won their conference tournaments. Both of them are hot, so that's going to be a good battle right there. Don't be surprised if UAB does indeed upset Houston. And finally, the 5 seed Iowa against the 12 seed Richmond. The only reason Richmond is even in the big dance is because they won their conference tournament, so I'm not confident about that, but you never know. It could happen. And of course, Iowa won the Big Ten tournament as well. So again, conference tournament champions going up against each other. Then there's the 8 versus 9 matchup. The first one, the 8 seed Boise State against the 9 seed Memphis. Boise State, the winner of the Mountain West Conference. Memphis made a deep run in the AAC conference tournament, but I think Boise State's the better team. Next one, the 8 seed North Carolina against the 9 seed Marquette. Marquette was very hot at one time, but they did cool off. North Carolina's hot, cold, hot, cold. Seem like they're a little hot recently, so I'll take North Carolina. Then the 8 seed Seton Hall against the 9 seed TCU. Straight up toss-up game. We saw TCU beat Kansas, but it was at home. We've seen Seton Hall beat some good teams, so that's going to be a good battle right there. Then the 8 seed San Diego State against the 9 seed Creighton. Personally, I think San Diego State is the better team. We'll see. Next, we'll talk about the biggest first-round upsets to keep your eyes out on. The first one, I think, is going to be the 6 seed Alabama taking on whoever wins between the 11 seed Notre Dame and the 11 seed Rutgers. And before last year, we all knew that whoever played in those playing games usually didn't make it past the next game. Well, last year, UCLA proved that to be totally false. They made a deep run as an 11 seed. So I do have Alabama on upset alert. The next big upset could be the 11 seed Virginia Tech over the 6 seed Texas. Texas is really cold right now. Virginia Tech's really hot right now. And usually the hot team will win that matchup. Also keep your eyes out for the 4 seed Providence against the 13 seed South Dakota State. I think Providence is very capable of making a deep run, but do not overlook South Dakota State. They have won 21 in a row. Very, very hot right now. And then the biggest upset to keep your eyes out for, the 4 seed Illinois against the 13 seed Chattanooga. I actually think that's a bad draw for Illinois. I think Chattanooga is more than capable of not only upsetting Illinois, but making a little bit of a run in the big dance. Sorry, Illini fans. I think that's a bad matchup for you. Here's where I think they got the seeding wrong. We all know the selection committee, just like the playoff committee, isn't perfect. They're going to get some things wrong. So these are the teams that I think they got wrong as far as seeding goes. Not as far as being in the big dance, but they're either too high or too low. First up, Alabama at the 6 seed. Way too high. I do not think Alabama is a 6 seed. I think at best they should be in that 8-9 matchup. They're an okay team, and they looked really, really good at one point. But right now, they aren't that hot Alabama team. They should be an 8 or a 9 seed. The next team I want to talk about is Notre Dame at the 11th seed. What in the world? Why are they so low? Notre Dame also should be an 8-9 matchup. So maybe it should have been Alabama-Notre Dame in an 8-9 matchup. But for Notre Dame, they could actually be higher than that. So them being at the 11th seed blows my mind. It really does. They're much better than an 11th seed. And that's why I think they could beat Rutgers and beat Alabama. So we might get that 8-9 matchup, just with different seeding. The next team I want to talk about is Davidson at the 10 seed. Davidson is better than a 10 seed, guys. We all know it. Davidson has some good shooters. You better have a heck of a defense if you want to beat Davidson. So I firmly believe that Davidson should be a single-digit seed, probably like a 7 seed, maybe an 8 seed. The next team I want to talk about is Michigan State at the 7 seed. What? The 7 seed? In my eyes, Michigan State barely got in. So I'd have them at like a 10 seed, 11 seed, maybe even a 12 seed. Way overseeded. Spartan fans are going to be disappointed. Next team that's way overseeded is Texas at the 6 seed. That's laughable. Even their own coach trash talked him. Are you serious? I would say Texas as 10 seed at best. The next team, San Francisco at a 10 seed? What? Look, San Francisco did great in the WCC, a really good basketball conference this year, and they had some great wins. San Francisco should be like a 6 or a 5 seed. That is insane. What are you thinking, selection committee? Illinois at the 4 seed. I think they're overseeded, guys, and that's why I think they're going to run into some trouble against Chattanooga, the 13th seed, because first of all, I think they're overseeded. Second of all, Chattanooga is going to be a bad matchup. I thought Illinois was more like a 7 seed, so yeah, I think they're overseeded. Next up, Ohio State, 7 seed. Overseeded. I would have them as a 9 or a 10. They're not looking like a great team. I'm sorry, you're not a 7 seed, Ohio State. What about Loyola Chicago as a 10 seed? That's way too low. That is disrespecting what Loyola Chicago has done and what they did this year. I'd have Loyola Chicago at that 7 seed. Maybe flip Ohio State and Loyola Chicago. That would make sense. And finally, Miami, the Hurricanes, a 10 seed. Once again, disrespected. I think they did a great job in the ACC, and I think they most definitely earned themselves a single-digit seeding. I'm thinking like 8, 7, something like that. 10 seed? Way too low. We had 2 Bubblebusters. The first one was Richmond. I don't think Richmond would have gotten into the tournament had they not won their conference tournament. The second Bubblebuster, Virginia Tech. I most definitely think that Virginia Tech would have not have made the big dance had they not won the ACC tournament. So there's your 2 Bubblebusters. Now here are the questionable teams that are in. The first team, glaring, Michigan, 17-14. Are you kidding me? No way. Sorry, Michigan fans. You shouldn't be in the big dance. The other questionable team, Memphis, 21-10. But I can excuse that a little bit more because they did make a deep run in the AAC tournament. But for me, it was win the AAC tournament and you're in. Lose and you're out. And finally, Indiana at 20-13. This is right on the line. I mean, I'm not overly mad about this, but I truly don't think Indiana should be in the big dance. But I don't have a huge problem with them being in the big dance. Michigan, yes. Huge problem. So here are the teams that definitely have a better argument than Michigan and probably have a better argument than Memphis and might have a better argument than Indiana. Now, I realize you can't put in all these teams. I'm just saying matched up against Michigan, Memphis, and Indiana, probably should have gotten in over them. First up, glaring, Texas A&M. They make it to the SEC Championship, finish the season 23-12. Why in the world are they not in the big dance? That is a travesty. They picked up some good wins to finish up the season, got to the SEC Championship. Yes, they did lose, but come on. That's stupid, especially putting Michigan in over Texas A&M. That's flat wrong. Next up, BYU. And I know that one's a little bit more questionable, but I mean, they are 22-10 in the WCC. That was a good basketball conference. Definitely in over Michigan. Next up on the list, SMU, 23-8. Didn't go quite as far as Memphis in the AAC. In fact, I think they got beat by Memphis, but they did better. I mean, you can't judge that based off of one game. I think SMU deserves to be in more than Memphis. Sorry, Memphis fans. Next up, Dayton out of the A10. How is Dayton not in the big dance? They're 23-10. Did pretty good in the A10. A10, a decent basketball conference this year. I think they deserve to be in over Michigan, definitely. I think they deserve to be in over Memphis. Indiana, that's close. But yeah, I would give the nod to Dayton. And finally, Oklahoma. This one's a little more close. They went 18-15, but that last win over Baylor, I thought pushed them over the edge into the Big Dance. I would definitely put them in over Michigan, probably put them in over Memphis, and maybe put them in over Indiana. I do indeed think that Oklahoma got snubbed. So y'all let me know in the comments section what you think about my opinion about the Big Dance this year. I'll always respect your opinion, but I'm gonna give you my opinion on your opinion. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.